I will ask you an old school sports talk constructed question, Chris. Did we learn more about the Cowboys or the Bills on Sunday?
We already knew that about the Cowboys. Like, I'm not anti-Cowboys. I'm not one of these all or nothing people where it's got to be the best team in the world or they're terrible. Like, they're a good football team, but you can run the football in this team. And coming into this game, I like the Bills because of Cook and because of the tight ends, and I thought the middle of the field was going to be an issue for them in the run and the pass game. But for the Bills to feature this offense, where Josh Allen doesn't really have to go back and drop back and do much, that's not to say he didn't do anything. There's the occasional 3rd and 9 where he rips it to Diggs and he catches it with one hand, and you're like, oh, these two guys. They softened you up and took the shots when they had to. Like I think it was maybe the first drive on that deep over to Diggs. They just pounded the ball. And that play where Cook's got the ball in the scrum and he goes for like 10 yards after contact. I've been in that situation when you're a defense and it dawns on you that, actually, like it's not just they're going to feature the run game in the game plan. It is the game plan. And it's loud here and they're committed to it. And the very next play, they hit that deep over. And I think not having a James Cook in the past or having a James Cook in the past and not using him is a huge indictment on the last guy. But also, it goes to show your answer was there all along. And in the biggest spots, Josh Allen has never had a receiving back like this, nor has he really had a ground attack like this. Some of the cuts that he made in the middle 15 minutes of this game before the half where they really took their soul on that drive, and then they come out in the third quarter and run the ball 11 out of 15 plays. I mean, that just tells that team on the other sideline, like, this game is absolutely over. And if they can do this and feature it, they are possibly the most dangerous team in the AFC. I mean, you watch the other teams, and one of the reasons I've been standing on the table for Kansas City is because the field is down too. And as the Bills ascend, you look at some of these examples in the past of New England making a run late in the season in their first championship season. I think they lost their last game to the Rams, eerily similar to the way the Bills lost in overtime, close ball game to the Eagles, a team they could see if they get that far. And then they go on that long run. The Giants too, that wild card run. I think they're 7-7 at that point. So there's reason to believe if you're Buffalo, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that the AFC is, including Baltimore, they look beatable.
Yeah, and Baltimore, it looks terrific as well. And I painted a scenario. Obviously Baltimore would have to lose out, and they do have some difficult opponents. San Francisco in San Francisco, and then Miami at home. And then they play a Steelers team that who the heck knows would show up. It could be one of those throw the records out things. But I don't think the Bills can be a 1 seed. I kind of threw it out there as a possibility. Yeah. But them as a 2 seed and an AFC East champion 2 seed is a million% possible.
They're absolutely going to have an opportunity to host a playoff game. I mean, that's going to be within their control. And last night was the reason. That was like, if you can get this game, I know you can beat these next 2 teams. But the problem with the Bills, are they the new Bills or the old Bills earlier this season where you lose to the Patriots? The Chargers, they're 2 touchdown favorites. I feel like you can never say anything for sure in the NFL, but you feel good about this one. The Pats, that's going to be Bill with his back against the wall. He wants to beat the Bills, maybe one last time. And then you go down to Miami, and I watch that team, and they're very good, right? They've yet to beat a winning team since last September. And you go to Miami, and I feel like all the pressure would be on Miami in that scenario, because that would mean that they're playing for everything. And you saw the first matchup went, it'd be a little different, but this defense is playing really well. Last night, I thought Sean McDermott, that run blitz on 2nd and 1 in the red zone early in that game, that was Dallas's last chance to get a touchdown there and keep up. But he dialed that run blitz up, and Dallas was running the football. Timely blitzes, timely pressures, sat back there, played zone. And in the second half, it was like Dak had nothing downfield, and the rushers and the guys on the back end playing downhill. All of a sudden, this looks like a pretty good defense again. They might not be what they were before Trey White, before you lose Milano, but they're still pretty good.
Chris Long here on the Rich Eisen Show. I feel like instead of level of concern segment, we should do a segment called "How Do We Fix It?" So how do we fix it with Dallas right now? How do we fix their inability to play on the road like they do at home? How do you fix that?
They got a big guy down up front. You get him back, you'll be better. You're not going to be able to host a bunch of playoff games in the playoffs. Obviously, this was a big one. Now, the Eagles, Monday night, I worry about them. They changed their defensive coordinator, that sort of thing. They could still win the East, but it's kind of in Philly's control. I think for Dallas, it's try to closely follow a game script where you're not down 2 scores, because I just don't like them in that scenario. I know it sounds simple, but they can't really fix anything. They're going to be a little bit suspect in the middle of the field and up the middle in the run game. And, you can slow these rushers down. I mean, we've seen it happen before with Micah. He's incredible. But when you throw enough things at him in the run game, it's hard for him to play fast. And he does honor his keys and that sort of thing. So I think for Dallas, it's just got to be a situation where you got to get in the right matchups in the playoffs and hope for the best, like most teams.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.